साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 7, and continuing with OV or verse number 184. Page 602. Here, Jnaneshwar Maharaj gives expression to a unique thought. The moment the eyes of pure consciousness close, the world is manifested, while the world disappears when he opens his eyes. What a wonder indeed! Whenever the eyes of the pure consciousness close, the world is manifested, and when they open, the world disappears. He says, Pataya pate mile ki drashtatva saindh paghale tiye unmalitam mavale navalavo. The moment one eyelid touches the other, the plurality of the seer seen is born. When the eyes open, the seer disappears. What a wonder indeed! The moment Jnana Drishti opens, Jnana Drishti, the vision of knowledge, the vision of wisdom, not even knowledge, vision of wisdom. When the moment Jnana Drishti opens, the plurality disappears. So here we are not talking about the physical eyes. We are talking about the eye of wisdom. That eye of wisdom is the third eye. In some places it is mentioned that way. The moment that appears, when the eye of wisdom opens, so to speak, the plurality, the multiplicity, the variety, that disappears. And the moment this drishti is closed, the moment this vision of eye of wisdom is closed, the duality again appears. The relativity begins. Thus the truth can be comprehended by only one method, namely by dropping the relative perception, by dropping our strong individuality, by having the quality of liquidity of water accommodating any shape, to the extent that all the sharp angles of one's personality are blunted. To that extent does the hard individual get softened and mellowed. When we stand before the Lord shrine, we close our eyes to have the darshan here, to have the vision, to have the grace. When the external eye close, the internal eye opens. When the external eyes are closed, A, relativity is accepted only as relativity, and B, relativity is accepted as Paramatma and not an illusion. Meaning, two options we give ourselves. One is not even options. These are the two angles of approach when we are standing in front of the Lord. One is, we realize when we go to the temple, when we go to our shrine, when we go sit in meditation, why we want to close our eyes and sit in meditation? Because we know this whole thing is, it's okay. Nothing to be serious about. Isn't it? That's why we close. If it was so interesting and it was so, if it was real, if it was giving you joy, would you go to sleep? Would you sit in meditation and escape from this? You will not, isn't it? Then you will continue to involve in the world of relativity. But we don't. We seek some other place where we can find fulfillment, where we can be at rest. And that rest, either we get it in sleep, but we are ignorant of that, we are not conscious of it, and the other is meditation, where we bring about a condition and withdraw from everything so that rest comes about. And second, relativity. Relativity is accepted as Paramatma and not an illusion. When we go into our meditation, when we have the vision, eye of wisdom is opened up, when our physical eyes are closed and the eye of wisdom opens up, see? Then what happens after you come out of the meditation? Then the entire world of relativity is taken as an expression of the divine. Before closing our eyes, we can just say it that way, that relativity was taken as relativity, but after the eye of wisdom is opened, the whole relativity is taken as an expression of the divine. Then what about the texts and other places where we have read that the whole world, the finite is an illusion, it is an imagination appearing on the real, that which is coming and going cannot be real? Yes, it is there. But that is only to initial stages. It is to convince your mind that don't get involved in it too much. You cannot change it. You cannot change relativity. You cannot stop relativity. You cannot stop duality. You cannot stop calling yourself a son when a mother comes in front. You cannot stop being a wife when a husband comes in front of you. You cannot. You can withdraw from it temporarily in sleep or escape from it in meditation. But when you come out of it, it will still be there. Those roles will still be there. The husband will still be there. Mother will still be there. Responsibilities will still be there. Then is there any way? Yes, there is. You continue doing that. But on the seat of meditation, your focus, let the focus be on the divine, and by the grace of the divine, when this eye of wisdom opens up, and when you again see the world, you discover it in a new light. And that new light is that everything is the expression of that one divine self alone. So eyes, physical eyes are seeing duality, but there is a knowing that everything is a one. Just like you see all the limbs in your body, the various parts of your body, but your experience is that of oneness, isn't it? Exactly like that with regards to the entire creation. Then alone is it possible to respect and accept everyone without logic, without cause, without reason. This vision that Jnaneshwar Maharaj is giving is not Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, But it is Brahma Satyam, Jagat Satyam. Everything is truth only. Yesterday also in Bhagavatam we saw the Lord says that I am the material cause and the efficient cause of the whole creation. What does that signify? It signifies that He is the creator and the material out of which He has created the creation is Himself. Is Himself. So He is permeating everything in this creation. He says there is nothing outside of me. Everything is me alone. See? And there a beautiful expression is given to bring home a point. He says, whatever the yogis, knowledgeable people, jnanis, Vedantis, people seekers practicing austerity, seekers doing charity, seekers doing social works, service to the mankind, singing bhajans, chanting the name of the Lord, doing meditation, etc., etc., etc. Whatever the result of all those things is, he says, it comes to me alone. It comes to me. And the gopis in the Bhagavatam, they did not practice any austerities, they did not do any charity, they did not study any scriptures, they did not do any meditation, they did not do any puja, they did not sit and do any japa, chanting of the Lord's name. This is the did not do. They did everything. And what did they do? They continued taking care of their house, they continued taking care of their children, they continued serving their husbands, they continued milking the cows, they continued churning the butter, they continued arguing, they continued everything. So they didn't do that, they did this. But where was their attention all the time? 24/7, 365 days a year. Where was their attention? While doing everything, while living their life in the household, carrying out the duties and responsibilities, their heart was continuously ruminating the Lord in their heart. That's all. They did not do any practices except think of the Lord, sing His glory, wait for Him every day when He comes back from grazing the cows, wait for Him every day so that they could complain about Him to His mother. First they will make Him steal the butter. He will come, break the pot, He knows what your intention is, and then go and complain to the mother that he broke our pot. For all the gopis, the only theme of discussion, the only pastime was remembering the pastimes of the Lord. And He was living in their midst. And they came to realize Him. How many years did they remember Him? Till He did the Ras Leela? 11, 12 years. That's all. But it was not sometimes all the time only Lord, everything they did in their life. Churning the butter, milking the cows, taking care of the children was only for the sake of the Lord. See? So here the Lord is saying, here the Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, in yesterday's story, the Lord is sending a message to the gopis because he has gone to Mathura to kill the Kamsa who represents the ego, and Uddhavji is giving the message, and he says, "O gopis, I am the material cause, I am the efficient cause, I am pervading everything, and I am not, if I am everything, then where is the question of wanting me to be with you? Where is the question of having any desire that I wish that the Lord comes and spends some time with us? Because I am already with you." It clicks to the gopis. Why doesn't it click to us? Because we have not remembered the Lord with the intensity that the gopis remember. What happens when you remember the Lord with intensity? Mind purifies. In that purified mind, when a drop of knowledge is introduced, it immediately matures. There is no gestation period from information to knowledge. Straight away. See? So here, it's exactly the same thing. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that, yes, initial stages we say that the truth is real and the world is untruth, the world is ephemeral, the world is a phenomena, the world is having a beginning and end, the world is fleeting, the world is a source of problem and strife. We say all these words so that you become focused on the divine. You become focused on the conscious principle. And when you become focused and your mind merges into the divine principle that is inherent, that which is your inherent nature, can the mind continuously remain absorbed? No, it will come out of it. Just like mind goes to sleep, it will wake up sometime. But when it merges into the divine and the eyes open back up, mind opens up, then what is the experience? Everything is divine. Everything is the self alone. This is the wonderful expression of the Paramatma. He is the wonder of wonders, Ascharyavat. When this wonderful thing happens, ha ha, that wonder happens for which there is nothing to wonder about. That wonder happens for which there is nothing to wonder about. Because who can wonder? The mind. Mind itself vanishes. Mind itself vanishes. Thinking about that wonder. Contemplating on that wonder. Whenever there is an interaction in an experience of the nature and magnitude that one is unable to dissolve the seer's indifference, then the relative perception is very strong between I, the seer, versus not I, the seen. If, on the other hand, one is able to participate in the world, but none of the experiences leave a dent on the mind, then one is not bound by the world, one has transcended the relative experience. So one must not seek, one must not do anything in order to create friction. When you do, if you say, oh, charity is very necessary for spirituality, you are maintaining duality in your mind. Lord will not reveal himself. Oneness will never be your experience. Oh, I have to control my senses, I have to control my mind. You are creating friction. You are creating heat. Friction creates heat. And all these practices of controlling the senses. Oh, I don't want to see, I don't want to see. Oh my God. Little bit I'll say, oh, no. Again I have cheated. guilt comes about, expectation comes about, inadequacy, feeling of inadequacy, that comes about whenever control is practiced. See? Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj saying, don't do all that. No point. Wherever there is interaction between the subject and the object, whenever there is a interaction with subject and the object, here the seer versus the seen versus the seen. And what is that versus? The seer is trying to withdraw from the scene. The experiencer is trying to withdraw from the experience of the world. Isn't it? Friction will be created. This reminds me of the one most beautiful statement that Swamiji told me when I went to study with him. And he said, I asked him, Swamiji, what can I do to prepare? There are still 3 months to come now that I have been accepted into the course of Vedanta. He says, go enjoy. Come with an empty mind, study for 2 years, and after the study of 2 years, go with an empty mind. See how beautiful it is. Huh? If I come with the preformed notions that I have studied Bhagavad Gita, I have done this sadhana, I have done this, I have done that, I know this, I know that, then I will not be available to what he has to pour into into this mind, isn't it? Something can be poured only if there is emptiness, if there is nothing there. Similarly, if my mind is full of heat, full of, oh, I must not fill up. Mind is full of what? I must do sadhana. Oh, mind is full of what? I must practice discrimination. Mind is full of what? I must practice detachment and renunciation. My mind is full of what? I must control my mind. I must control my senses. I must control my, I must persevere. I must sit in meditation. I must have an intense desire for liberation. That intense desire for liberation also can become, if you keep thinking about that only and not think about the truth, then where will you go? You will be a frustrated being moving around on the earth. See? So the more we want to withdraw, the more we remain agitated. Accept everything. Simple as that. Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, let there be no, don't take an opposite stand to what you see, hear, touch, feel, taste, experience, ideate. Take everything that I am seeing you or you are seeing me, all this seeing is happening within the divine. All the hearing is happening in the divine. All the experiences are happening in the divine. You may not understand it at the moment, but give it benefit of the doubt that the divine itself is experiencing itself. The divine is the seer and the divine is the seen. The divine is the hearer, divine is the heard. Divine is the taster, divine is the tasted. Divine is the experiencer, divine is the experienced. Divine is the speaker, divine is the hearer. See? So where is our attention? If we have these type of thoughts in our mind, our attention is not on the things and beings. Our attention is on the divine. We are suspecting that everything is divine. And that's what is the ultimate conclusion. So by the more we focus on the divine like this, in spite of us not having that experience, one day we will be. We will have it. If on the other hand one is able to participate in the world but none of the experiences have a dent on the mind, then one is not bound by the world. Dent on the mind means what? When we think that everything is divine, divine is experiencing divine, then there will be no precipitation of memory. There will be no precipitation of thought in the mind. Because the more you think of the divine in this manner, you are moving through the world without hurting anyone by thought, word, of deed and deed of yours, nor getting disturbed by other people's thought, word and deed. Why? Your attention is on the divine. See? Where does the hurt come? When does the noise get created?
When there's resistance.
When there is, correct. When there is resistance. And for whom is the resistance?
The individual.
The individual has the resistance. And that individuality is born because this divine, this we have considered ourselves to be only this body. And this body has many rough edges. And when it goes through the world, it keeps clong, 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 clong. It keeps making noise. Sound is created. But when we suspect that it is the divinity which is expressing, and it is the divinity which is walking, the divinity which is seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, thinking, the divinity is interacting with divinity everywhere, at least give it the benefit of the doubt. At least suspect that. Then we'll be in a different zone. Then we'll be in a different zone altogether. Nothing will matter. If inside is divinity, outside is divinity, then no need of thinking about anything, isn't it? Inside space, outside space. Do you think about space all the time? You don't. See? In this hand you are expressing, in this hand you are expressing. Do you think that I am expressing in this hand and in this hand? No. Because it's a universal experience for you. As regards the two hands. You are pervading both. You are both. Isn't it? Same thing happens with the entire cosmos. That I am pervading the entire cosmos. Who is this I? The divine. Not we don't say that. There is nobody to say that there. Therefore, the truth can be known only when the objectification of the subject is dropped. As long as we are thinking of the divine as an object and are pursuing it objectively. Pursuing it objectively means what? Seeking it as an experience. That is objective pursuit. Seeking it as an experience. Experience can only be of something other than ourselves. Right? And what is the subject? Is it other than ourselves? What is the divine? Is it other than ourselves? So this click has to happen. That what I am seeking is me. Suspect it. Bring yourself to that threshold of mind. That, because mind is only thinking, isn't it? Let it come to that threshold. That what I am thinking, I think it is essentially me only. The mind is thinking. As long as the I is thinking about I as a thought, as long as I is thinking about I as a thought, it will only bring some frustration. It will only bring frustration. Because thinking of I as an I is objective pursuit. And yet it must be done. Who am I? Ramana Maharshi did, isn't it? Then what? It must drop away. Yeah, it must click that what I am seeking, am I mad? Thinking about who am I, who am I? It's not just merely a mental journey. We are not talking about a thought. We are not seeking a thought. We are not searching for an experience. We are searching for that being who's permeating, enlivening, expressing as the life. So when we say, who am I? Ask the question, no doubt. But don't take a rosary and start saying, who am I, 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 who am I. Nothing is going to happen. Because your attention is not on the subject, your attention is on the question. So when you are saying, who am I, is your attention on the question or on what that question is signifying? Where is your attention? Is it on the subject? When we say, mind is that container in which the thoughts are coming and going. You say, yes, I understand. And then, okay, put the attention on your mind and you close your eyes. And where do you put the attention? On the thoughts. Isn't it? Because looking for a mind by way of thought, your attention is only on the thought. It is not on the mind. It becomes an objective pursuit. You will not find an answer that way. You have to bring such a disposition that substratum of the thoughts, the container in which the thoughts are coming and going, that consciousness which is supporting all the thoughts, appearance and disappearance of thoughts, it is not other than the self. See? When we are asked, think, imagine, in Vigyan Bhairava, the example, when a meditation came, think of your skull, the top part of your skull as the inverted bowl, and imagine the empty space in that bowl. And you close your eyes and you start thinking of you start looking at empty space. As long as you are looking at empty space, the thought in your mind is empty space. Because space is not something that you can think. See?
Can I put that another way?
Yeah?
Some philosopher said something about when you're thinking about God all the time, and then you start thinking about something else, and the thought of that God slips away with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
And I find that if I'm doing that, it just doesn't mean a thing, but I can only... That mind that's there underneath and all the thinking and everything, if you can sort of stay with that.
Was, that's it.
And that's it.
Stay with that.
Yeah.
Be that, not even stay with that. Because stay with signifies you are other than that.
Yeah.
Be that. Be that.
You can between stay and be.
Correct. It's because that's the communication that you are making with yourself inside. So when you stay with it, that thought becomes detrimental then. If you keep staying with the thought of sleep, you'll never go to sleep. Isn't it? And yet you must begin with the thought of sleep, isn't it?
Then you let go of the thought because the one
But then you know thinking about sleep is not equal to sleep. You know, every one of us knows. So we take the thought of sleep, but our attention is what sleep thought signifies. And what does it signify? A state of bliss, a state of merging into that which is beyond the thought of sleep. And we allow ourselves to surrender our mind, our thoughts, to surrender to that sleep, even though we don't know what it is. Isn't it?
We're happy to do it, huh?
They are happy to do it.
Yes.
But what I'm telling you here, technology is, we are using the thought in order to go beyond thought. Because sleep, to experience sleep, you have to go beyond the thought of sleep, isn't it?
It's like when you're wondering if you, I hope I can get to sleep, and I've got a busy day tomorrow, and you're thinking too much about it.
You will not be able to sleep.
No, you can't sleep because you're working, so you've got to...
You're caught up in your mind.
Or you won't sleep.
Yeah, you're caught up in, your mind is caught up in thinking.
That's right.
Same way, if your mind is caught up in thinking about I, who am I, where am I, what am I, you will never know, you will never come to know yourself. The thought of what that thought I is indicating, you have to suss it out. You have to be that. You see? So therefore the truth can be known only when the objectification of the subject is dropped. Thinking about I is not equal to the self. Self is independent of thinking. Self is self-existing. You remember this statement again and again. Thinking does not make a realization happen. Self is self-existing. Self is self-effulgent. Self is self-luminous. It doesn't require a thought to illuminate it. So if I am I and I am thinking about I, my premise is I must think about the I in order to be the I. Arey, idiot. No, but this is very fine. We are refining our thinking here. No amount of thinking can reveal the I. Because
you can't explain it.
No, this is the best way scriptures can explain it. Because I is self-revealed. I is not that which is sometimes there and sometimes not there. The self within, it's ever. It has never seen annihilation. It has never experienced destruction. Your fear about annihilation and destruction is not about the I. It is about the body. It is about the breath. It is about the mind. It is about the thoughts. It is about your convictions. It is about your emotions. It is about your attachments. But it is never about I. Because if that fear was there, then you would not go to sleep. Then you would not go to dream. Then you will not wake up. But you know that I support all these three. Somewhere within you, you know that you are other than these three. And therefore there is no fear in going in and out through this. See? The pure subject that I is cannot be known. Cannot be known how? Cannot be known objectively. Cannot be known objectively. You cannot have an experience of the subject. But the pseudo subject that is suffering and getting agitated is born every moment with reference to its opposite counterpart, the object. So, what is the friction here? What is this pseudo subject? Pseudo subject is the illusory I. Pseudo subject is that I which believes its existence is as the body, its existence is as the friend, as the teacher, as the son. Remember we told in Panchadashi we saw the Gaunatma and the Mithyatma. That I which is attached to, which defines itself because of some object or some being, then he becomes the owner of the house. The owner is ever miserable. Then he identifies with the some being. This is my mother, so I become the son. Son is always miserable. Then that I identifies with a man, it becomes the wife or brother or whatever. These are the Gaunatmas. Your identity is dependent on some object or some being, and that identity can never be fulfilling. Oh, it has clicked now. Now I don't define myself based on anyone else or any object. Then what do you do now? Oh, I think I am this body. So, defining yourself by identifying with this body, breath, mind, intellect is also the pseudo I, is also not the real I. It is imagining itself to be this body. So it has worn another. First it was wearing the hat of brother, sister, daughter, etc. Now it is wearing the hat of I am this body. And believe. And what is it essentially? What is this I essentially? One without a second. It is everything and nothing. It is supporting everything. It is pervading everything. There is nothing in this creation outside of it. It is all encompassing. And what do we believe ourselves to be? I am only this body. This is the pseudo I. And the third term that we used was Mukhyatma. Mukhyatma is the primary self, the real self. So right now who's talking? Is it the secondary self? Is it the illusory self? Or is it the primary self? Who is speaking right now? Or who is listening right now? Determine. Say that again.
The Swido, is that what you call it?
Pseudo.
Pseudo.
The ghost.
There you go.
Not the Christian ghost, the Father, Son and the Holy Ghost. That ghost is the ultimate spirit. But in the real sense, the ghost. No, there's no real sense of ghost anyway. Huh? Which one? So can the speaker be without anyone to speak to? So this I has taken itself to be the speaker if that is where my attention is. If my attention is on you people, then I am the speaker, then I am the teacher. And teacher, this I is defining itself as a teacher, as a speaker, because its attention, its identification is on some being outside. So this is the secondary I. If this I's attention is, okay, this is going on, doesn't matter, but I am doing it for myself. I am not doing it for others. If the attention is on myself, what is my definition of myself? I am this body, I am the speaker, I am speaking, and etc., etc. And I will speak only for 1 hour. I will not speak continuously for whole day. No, I can't. I have to conserve my energy. Huh? Where has the attention gone? Attention has gone to the body, the ghost I. And who am I essentially? The one who is supporting everything as everything. See? So one must be clear. One should be able to stand apart and watch the subject which is created with reference to the object. And this does not happen. This does not happen so simply. Yet it is happening all the time. But you have to create certain condition. Only then you will be able to catch it. What you will be able to catch? How your personality, your pseudo, that subject I, the thought I, is interacting with the object. So if I am having an argument with someone, I am knowing that my mind is erupting and thoughts are coming and it is arguing because that expression of this I has identified with that other fellow and wants a particular result, or wants to convince that person, or does not want to believe what that other person is saying, and argument is going on. You are knowing it. Every now and then you come to suss that. But if you are not careful, you fall, you succumb to that. Only when you are in meditation, only when you live a life which is non-confrontational, only when you live a life which is continuously contemplating on the divine, subjectively, that all these rough edges which create the sound, which create the, what do you call, what is that? Well, which create the sound, they drop away, yeah.
I'm just thinking, you're saying about we're having an argument with someone, I often do. Something in us must know that this
Pseudo.
I is destructible. Otherwise, it wouldn't be arguing with the other person to stick up for itself, to try and preserve
Correct.
itself.
Correct.
Well, I just thought of that. I said, something in me perceives that without. I've only just perceived it actually.
Correct.
That's.
So the more you fall back into that position of perceiving that this pseudo I is due to identification becoming miserable, due to identification is arguing, due to identification becomes depressed or excited.
And it's all to preserve this ego that doesn't exist.
Ego is doing all this to preserve itself.
But it hasn't got a self. There's no.
It is totally, this I thought is totally dependent on that thought. If there is no that thought, I thought will vanish. If there is no that thought, I thought will vanish. Just like it happens in deep sleep.
That's ridiculous.
And this is to catch this phenomena that we are talking about mind right now, that this I thought's existence is only because of that thought. Meaning the subject as a subject, an idea of subject as I, is only valid as long as there is an object to interact with.
But nothing to do, has it, otherwise?
Who? It has got nothing to do. And because of this subject's identification, it has realized that if no object is there, I will die my own death, man. So it keeps creating new objects to interact with.
Yes.
And if not outside, inside it will keep creating the drama, the imaginations. It keeps creating because that's its survival, that is its food.
That's right. The only way it thinks it can exist is
Exactly, because thinking requires something to interact with. Now catch this game. It's so relieving, isn't it? It is a joke. But to catch this game of the pseudo I, that it is it is living a life of wanting to survive. And therefore it keeps creating thoughts after thoughts after thoughts after thoughts so that it can interact with them.
And that's their identity.
That-
I think they are.
Exactly.
And they're, what have you been doing lately? What interests have you got? What hobbies are you doing?
And we keep asking questions and
well,
then...
yes, I can say it. I don't. That's my reason for existing. That's what people think, isn't it? Or we think.
So when this I thought starts thinking about itself, that who is this really me? It's still thinking.
Yeah.
It is still thinking. So it has dropped all the other thoughts and it is still thinking about itself. But it must stop this also. This he cannot stop it.
It's
But
not
it must.
going out, it's going in.
It's going in. And there is no in and out eventually, in
No,
the
that's
end.
what I mean, yeah. At least
But
it's
while it is thinking, who am I, or I am the one, I am the witness of everything.
Yeah.
Who is this witness? Who is undisturbed? Who's watching this interaction of I thought and that thought? What just now you said that you are perceiving it. So perceiving it means you have become a witness of it for those few moments. For those few moments.
If we only stopped, we'd be home. That's
You don't need to, but you don't need to stop also.
no.
Do you see? Because I tell you one thing. I gave you the example of gopis. Do you ever say my eyes should stop seeing? Do you ever have a feeling that ears should stop hearing? Do you have ever a feeling that tongue should stop tasting? Then why do you have a feeling that my mind should stop thinking? Let it think. It's a phenomena. Let it go on. How does it matter? And it will go on. Whatever you may try, you may sit in meditation for 2-3 hours, even one day. The moment you come out of meditation, thinking will begin. You cannot move around in the world with an empty mind.
No, I know that.
See, so this way, recognize this is what is going on.
Yeah. Don't resist it.
Don't resist it. That is important.
Yeah.
Don't resist it.
Because
Be.
you've got problems.
Be. If you
create
resist it,
problems for yourself.
if you resist sleep, if you resist waking, if you resist dream, you are creating, the web is becoming more complicated.
Barrier.
Go through whatever life is presenting as the witness. What do you mean by witness? My famous statement from the scriptures only: accept everything, reject nothing, retain nothing.
Then you have no resentment and stuff like
No resentment, no guilt, no anxiety, no fear, no aspirations, then whatever, even if aspirations come, even if the mind feels guilty about it, you are witness to it. It doesn't create a dent on you because you have realized you are the witness. This is an interim stage.
You were saying earlier, don't reject the result of, the reaction to things. Try to stop the reaction.
We try to stop the reaction,
Yeah,
because
it makes
but
it
is the
worse.
reaction in our hand?
Yes.
If someone else behaves in a particular way, do I have any control over it? No. But my mind goes, why did you do like that? Why did you do this? Why did I did not do anything. I don't even know that person. But why did they do like this?
Yeah.
that fellow has gone away. He is enjoying his whatever he is doing.
That's right.
You are miserable for nothing.
That's right.
And similarly, we can be miserable not about other person. We can be miserable in our mind all on our own also.
Why did I think like
Why
that?
did I?
Bear belting yourself up.
What do you call? Masochism. Masochism? Masochism. This is masochism. Sadism is when you do atrocity on other people heartlessly. Masochism is when you do atrocity on yourselves heartlessly. And this is the heartless punishment that you are giving to yourself.
Psychiatrists love people like that.
Because they themselves are one of them. Catching the game that is going on in this with this laughter itself is transcending it. See, you could not have laughed otherwise. You could not have laughed otherwise. So you are seeing how you are caught up for no reason of your. It's just going on. Right now it is very clear what is going on. After satsang is over, the world will take over. You will again you will feel as if you have lost the plot.
Yes.
Why can't I be in that space that I was in satsang?
Yeah.
Again you are creating friction in your mind. Why can't I be like I was in
That's
satsang?
right.
Again we have created resistance. Because we are living in the past memory. Live in the present moment. Right now we are in the present moment. That's why we are able to laugh.
Yes.
So stop bringing the past into the present, pulling the present into the future. No. For that, extreme alertness. Extreme alertness. But a relaxed one. When you say, oh my God, extreme alertness, the moment we say extreme alertness, oh my God, how much effort I'll have to put. No, alertness does not require any effort. Beingness does not require any effort. When you think about this alertness objectively, you will require effort.
Yes.
But you are what you are seeking. No effort. Just be in spite of everything. And try to be.
Yes.
Not, oh, for 1 hour I'm going to be myself. No. For 1 second here, 1 second there, 1 second here, 1 second there. Bring many moments of awareness in your one day. Don't try to overdo it. You don't have the capacity at the moment. It happens only by grace. But you can catch yourself. Stand apart, stand apart, stand apart. Every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes. Remind yourself and fall back. Fall back. Fall back. Be that. Be that. Be that.
When does it come naturally where you don't have to think about standing back and all the rest of it?
When you merge into it as it. When does it, in this life, when does it happen when you don't have to think about sleep to sleep? When you stop thinking. When you allow the sleep to devour your mind. When you allow the sleep to devour your mind. So when will you stop thinking about the self? When you will allow the self to devour the mind which was thinking, who am I? So even that last thought is devoured by you get sucked into yourself. That means your idea of yourself is getting sucked into the real self. Isn't it? So right now, I see him. So I am his friend. Immediately friend Swami appears in my mind, and because this is the object of contemplation, and next moment, suppose mother comes out. Immediately this friend will withdraw. Where has he gone? Where has he gone?
Nowhere.
But he has gone somewhere. Na? The idea of that I am a friend has gone away somewhere. It has withdrawn
Back into memory?
and then gone back to its source. It came out of nothing, it got back into nothing. And then the sun will appear. With objective phenomena, with interaction with objects, this coming and going of personalities will go on. But when you are interacting with this thought of I, the thought of the self, once you know it, once you surrender to it, there is no coming and going after that. Because you are it. Here, the friend is a friend. The friend me is because of him. The son me is because of the mother. But the I me is because of something. No. I and me is one and the same.
You everything.
And once this happens, that is the third eye opening up. That is the eye of wisdom. No more resistance. The great masters who were established in this vision were able to love the whole world without reason or logic because they had transcended the relative existence of cause and effect. The vision of the absolute about the relative is called spiritual unfoldment or open eye meditation. That state which supports the relativity without getting influenced by the relativity is absolute being. So live like that, supporting the entire phenomena that you find, that you are in, that you are observing, that you are witnessing, but not getting identified with that phenomena. Yesterday when I went to the Sanskrit class, one person comes. He is a neurosurgeon at Monash. And he went to he was saying, Swamiji, where can I go? So in January or December, he went for 5 days to Tiruvannamalai. And I told him, do the Giri Paradakshina and then go and sit in the cave, go and sit in his room, go and sit in the Samadhi and see where you find, it will click. And he went for 5 days. And yesterday he was telling me, Swamiji, everything that I have been searching for, seeking, reading, so that I can come to know myself, it was so effortless there. And it is still resonating. It is still, that feeling that I am. It's still there. I don't have to put any efforts to think who I am. See? That state which supports the relativity without getting influenced by the relativity is absolute being. This thought is reflected in the Panchadashi where reference is made to Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. Relative existence, which is Jiva Srishti, will always be tinged with unhappiness. One can never expect absolute joy from the relative perceptions. This perception of the relative experience without the consequence of relativity, although functioning through relativity, is called Yoga Bhumika, or the state of supreme self-realization. This self-realization is not in terms of I am realized, not others, but of I alone is the reality, and if I am realized, there is none in my eyes who is not realized. This theme of Yoga Bhumika, introduction to the union with the Lord, is initiated in the 185th verse and is the theme of the next 7 verses. These are methods of meditation. Each verse OV deserves to be taken in the same spirit and depth of contemplation in which Jnaneshwar Maharaj expounded it. So this part, again, I'll talk to these last two paragraphs, I'll talk about it again next class. Little small doses, not too much. This is enough for today. And then we'll see the meditations. Probably we can practice these meditations for the next 7 classes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purna Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.